If somebody said, well, where's South Hero? I'd say upstate New York. And everybody knew where upstate New York was. I lived in South Hero all my life except when I was in the military and off at the high school. My father was a Canadian that came down and worked on a farm and then married my mother and became a naturalized citizen of the United States. It was a lot different life than it is today. You know, we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a car. We didn't have television. Mother used to put up a lot of food. Daddy liked to hunt. Just a simple life. Daddy didn't have a lot of cows. Daddy only had about 24 to 30 cows, you know. Finally got milking machines, but there was 7 or 8 cows. Daddy said, well, they don't like machines, you know. I gotta milk them by hand. And he did. All the rest of the time, he milked those 7 or 8 cows by hand. Everything was done, like the hay was put up loose, you know, with a hay loader. Daddy would rake the hay and his hay loader would bring the hay up on and Daddy would fork it around on the truck and then drive to the barn and Mother would go ahead and with a rope and pull it with the truck or horses, whichever we had, and pull it up in the barn and it would go down the track and where Daddy wanted it, he'd pull the rope and drop it. It made nice playing in the winter, you know. We played King of the Mountain, you know, because it always ended up in a big mountain of hay. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. You know, we did a lot of things. I remember one time someone came and wanted to plant corn and wondered if Daddy had anybody. So Daddy sent me and we planted all the corn and then the guy said, what are we? Dad said, you don't owe the boy nothing, you know. Neighborly. So about 30 years later, I rented that farm that I planted corn on that day. And I was talking to the owner and his wife, and I said, you know, a long time ago, you remember when I helped you plant corn? Oh yeah, I remember. He said, what I owe you? And Dad said, you don't owe the boy nothing. I said, just $2 would have been great. So that year in my Christmas card, they sent me $2, which I thought was kind of cute. Farmers back then all worked together. Somebody needed something or someone to help them. They would go to the neighbor or whoever had somebody extra, and it seemed like I was always the extra. So I worked on quite a few farms. I worked on that farm, and then the farm next door, the guy got corn poisoning. So I went down there and I stayed there and I did the milking and stuff like that. Back in the 40s, I would say 25 to 30 farms in South Hero, and today there's only 2 left that are shipping milk. I got out on April Fool's Day, 1964. I was not going to be a farmer. I was going to go off and work on airplanes like I did in the Navy. But when I came home, everybody quit, and I had to go to the barn and start work. I needed somebody to help me, you know, so the veterinary told me where this was, this man, and he came, and I asked him, I said, well, I'll help you out, he said. Well, I think he stayed about 25, 30 years, and he never said he was going to stay, you know, and he was a good man, you know. He's since then has passed, but, well, I stuck with it. I had a lot of help. You know, there was a lot of young boys in town that helped me out. That was awful good spirits of the community. They helped each other out, you know. And I would have done the same if somebody was in a bind. But when I didn't have any hired men, it was just Sharon and I. She worked in the barn for a lot. My wife did when we were first married. The children started coming and she stayed in the house. Now that I look back at it, I had a good life, and I enjoyed farming, and I had a lot of good friends around me. That was a lot of fun.